Today we started with a lottery snatcher, a girl sent to ER, and much more. Enjoy. Nalefekrisis had no regrets. I just cashed a lottery scratcher I didn't pay for. I decided, fuck it, and threw $10 into a scratcher machine and bought one $10 ticket. This is even worse considering I'm unemployed and using state resources. I've spent $300 in food stamps this month, have gotten 3 free prescriptions, and just this week I've had 3 free doctor's appointments. Instead of one ticket, the machine accidentally spit out 3. They were all folded together, so the machine didn't tear them off like it was supposed to. I scratched the first ticket, the one that I paid for, and nothing. So I scratched the second and third tickets, the one I didn't pay for, and I won $50. I said to myself, is this right? Should I throw it in the trash? Well, I didn't throw it away. I got my $50. I justified it in 2 ways. First, the lottery is fucking predatory. With slogans like, hey, it could happen, and imagine what a buck could get you. It's selling false hopes and dreams to people who will never get out of a shitty situation. Second, I once couldn't cash in a $10 winning ticket while in another state at the airport because there was no fucking attendant next to the machine selling the tickets. How can you sell tickets but not allow people to cash them in? So yeah, I got $40 for free tonight, and I feel okay about that. No life crisis gets a comeback with how they know that big winners can be tracked. Actually, I do, since all tickets are numbered in order. I learned this working at a convenience store when I was a teenager. In theory, the lottery company can look into this and say, wait, ticket number 17 was cashed, and we only sold 15 tickets. In reality, it's $50, so they probably won't give a shit. Had it been one of those $1 million winners, I'd just gone back and attempted to buy 2 more tickets so that their numbers would match up in an audit. If that didn't work, and it was a $1 million winner, I'd have gotten a lawyer first thing in the morning. Balaya posting. Balaya. Compare that $50 winnings to all the money you've spent on scratch and wins over the past few years. Who's the real winner? Also, do you know on government assistance you shouldn't be gambling the money that you're supposed to be using to feed and shelter yourself? Where OP answers, I rarely buy lottery tickets, and when I view it as a form of entertainment. If I spend $5 on lottery tickets in a single week, I get 20 to 30 minutes of entertainment thinking about what I do with the winnings. If I spend $8 for a beer at a bar, which I hardly ever do, I get less amount of entertainment for a more expensive price. While Cock & Co thinks a bit different. This isn't my place to say, but I'm not sure you have the money to do either. It'd be much better spend if you didn't spend it and saved up to get something nice that'll last more than 20 minutes. You could even tally up every time you feel like spending on it and get yourself a gift with the money you saved. Would make it a lot easier if you have something to look forward to. Whittles had another experience. I ordered some stuff from a company I've never used before and waited 3 weeks for the stuff to come. It never showed up, and I figured after 3 weeks it probably wasn't coming. Sent an email to the company saying the package never came. They refunded money that day. I go to work. My BF calls me. He's checked the mail and the package is in there. I'm still struggling with whether or not to email them again and tell them to take their money back. While forgotten joke advise against. I strongly advise against gambling. I don't care about the government assistance. That money is yours to spend as you see fit. But long term, you will always lose when gambling. Did you know that most areas will post what scratcher prizes remain? And they'll continue selling them when no prizes remain? If you're struggling, it is always best to put your limited funds into something that will improve your circumstances. It's the only way things will get better. Jio and a whole other view on thing. I really don't see an issue with it. At all. I'm more pressed about your lack of decision-making skills. You're already on assistance, no shame or judgment from me, and you're using the money that you're supposed to use towards necessities and you're buying lottery scratch-offs. If the machine hadn't have fucked up, you literally would have taken that $10 and burned it for no reason. Again, no judgment, but are scratch-offs a regular purchase for you? If so, maybe it's time to take a look at some gambling addiction help. If not, then just, why? Company consistent 452 had bad luck with a girl. Sent a girl to the ER when I was in kindergarten. When I was in kindergarten, currently in 11th grade, female, we went outside for recess. My elementary school had the tiny oval rocks on the playground, so when it was time to go in, as I was walking through the doors, I noticed I had some rocks still in my shoe. Since I was in kindergarten, I had a long walk back down to the kindergarten classrooms. I don't know if any of y'all schools had nap time after recess, but that's what my school was like, so I put my sleeping mat next to my friend, and I laid down. I remembered I had rocks in my shoe, so I took the rocks out, There were two. I threw one across the room, and I shoved the other one in my friend's nose. It apparently got stuck in her nose canal, and she had to go to the hospital and they had to get it out. Mythbird's kids have other problems with his kid. My kid was a compulsive nose stuffer. One day we just finished dinner, and it was time to get changed, and I put him on the change table, and we're talking. I'm talking. He's looking at me with this stupid grin, and I'm all, "You're such a funny lit. OMG, what's in your nose?" "Oh, it a piece of corn." So I pulled it out, and the next one slotted into place like a freaking Pez dispenser. So I pulled that one out as well, and another one popped into place. 8 corn kernels of canned corn out of the rat bag's nose. He did the same thing with dried cranberries, round pasta, and at one time the rolled-up label from his drink bottle, which he last used 3 days earlier at daycare, which he sneezed out while I was changing his nappy. So did this one Marta Temps. When my daughter was about 1.5, we kept occasionally smelling this weird odor from her and could not figure it out. No matter how clean she was, every once in a while you would get a light whiff of something off. Finally, I actually don't remember how long this went on because it was so long ago. A friend of ours mentioned when his sister was little she stuck a piece of sponge in her nose and had to go to the doctor to get it removed, and they only figured it out because it smelt really bad. Sure enough, we take a look and something is up there, but not too far that we couldn't grab it with tweezers pretty easily. It was a piece of the foam that some pillows are made of. Luckily, it caused no other problems, maybe because it wasn't super far up there. But who knows how long it could have been up there if our friend didn't mention his sister. It seemed to be no bother to my daughter. The hero comes and saved the day for OPOWO_. "Bro, you were a kiddo. Don't worry about it. When I was 5, my mom and older sister, a teen, were arguing in the front seat before we were about to back out of my dad's driveway onto a 50 miles per hour rural road. In the heat of it all, she made a disgusting decision out of rage. She slammed the accelerator, throwing us back right into the path of another car with a family in it. Both my sister and mom were all fucked up. Me and my brother were somehow mostly unscathed. The kid in the back of the car that hit us, he ended up with a fractured growth plate. I don't even know if the parents survived, no one has told me, but she isn't in prison for manslaughter, so I guess maybe they were okay. That kid's entire life is fucked up. I don't know to what extent, but the opportunities that he originally had were taken away in one single instant of one unstable stranger's rage. We were lucky to not have been given the same fate, or worse. She endangered the lives of 7 people, including herself that day, including all of her children, all because of rage. And this was such a long and nice convo, I don't want to cut any out, so here it comes. Location on 4102. I'm so sorry, dude. And I'm extra sorry the therapist you tried was an asshole. If you did ever want to try it again, try seeking one that specializes in parental trauma, and don't be afraid to try a few until you find one you click with. In any case, I hope find a lot of happiness in the future. OWO_. Thank you, honey, and you as well. Love, I just live my little life. Spicy Tiger 838. I agree with the above. Some of us have to try a few therapists until we find the right one for us, Red Heart. OWO_. Yes, but please understand that my traumas are built up like a nail polish mountain, and that happened while I was actively getting more trauma, and it's justified that I wouldn't trust the medical system again. There's abuse and corruption all over the place anyway. My disgusting sister is a nurse. Lots of mean girls are nurses. I'm the person who has already turned their back on society. I don't have friends because they hurt me. I don't have lovers because they hurt me. I've been through the ringer so intensely in so many different ways, I'm essentially a broken person. Spicy Tiger 838. I hope you have friends somewhere. At the very least, you can DM me. OWO_. Aw, thank you. I'll take you up on that offer when I'm feeling a little lonely heartsuit. And used to have lots of friends when I was working in an actual workplace. I'm door dashing now, so it's just lonely time. And that was the end of that wholesome post. Let's get back to those other unlucky. XX_MBoy_XX. When I was in grade 1, some kid was trying to steal my stash of gumnuts, schoolyard currency, so I stepped on his hand. I later learned from a teacher that legs are strong and I broke his hand. I think sometimes kids just send other kids to the hospital because they don't know the consequences of certain actions, LOL. Lauren Lumos. In 5th grade, my sister put one of those small playground rocks in her ear and couldn't get it out. Twice your age at the time of your rock incident. Kids are stupid. Blatant Liar 792. Did you face any consequences from that? At least she was able to get the problem treated. A buddy of mine was hit with a fireball, a fistful of packed mud with a couple of tiny pebbles mixed in, and it broke his nose right then and there, but he hid the injury to prevent being a snitch and telling on the boy who threw the fireball. He never actually had the problem treated and has been breathing differently with a deviated septum for about 15 years now and has lost almost all of his sense of smell. To this day, he hasn't snitched and may take the truth of the incident to his grave. Of course, Opie didn't want to answer that question. Broke use. This made me chuckle. When my son was in daycare, he had what I thought was an ear infection. Took him to the doctor and she looked in his ear and said it looks green. She asked if he had put a green marker in his ear. He said no. She took a curette and scooped out some kind of green mush. In the car, on the drive home, he confessed that they were playing with Play-Doh in daycare and the teacher said it was nap time. He wanted to save the Play-Doh in case he couldn't sleep and got bored. Obviously, his ear canal seemed like the most logical storage space. I wouldn't beat yourself up over this. It probably just took a few minutes with a suction tube to get the rock out. Did the girl know that you did it? Did you get in trouble? From one topic to another, here we got a brave person coming out with a shopaholic problem. Not Kosa's where. I keep digging myself into deeper debt because I am a shopaholic. To be honest, the title says it all. But for more context, and to give an understanding of just how bad this has gotten, I suppose I should elaborate. I come from nothing. I grew up with nothing. I endured awful things just to keep me and my siblings safe and alive. But this post isn't about that. This is just context. As I grew up, I learned how to make the most of every situation, and ended up with nice homes and decent cars and basically was just about spoiled with whatever I wanted, within reason. But I decided I didn't want to live as a dependent anymore. So I started to truly build a life for myself. I got certifications that allowed me to work decent paying jobs and then got into better jobs as I earned better certifications. Finally, my big break came. I opened many credit cards with decent starting lines of credit. I bought a fairly expensive car. I moved into a bigger place, and then I started shopping. First, it was for necessities like new furniture because I didn't have any. Then nice appliances because the other ones were just so old. I had, throughout my efforts to become a better person, lost a lot of weight. So, naturally, I needed a new wardrobe. I started buying hundreds of dollars worth of clothes and shoes every week, and accessories, and anything that caught my eye, really. I bought a PS5 and new OLED Steam Deck on the same day. I continued to buy more and more collectibles, clothes, games, electronics, etc. My room looks like a literal shipping warehouse, full of unopened packages that I've bought and have no space for, nor the energy to go through in the first place. The issue is that I cannot afford to keep this up. My cards are all nearly maxed at this point, and while I haven't missed a beat in paying them, and I do pay more than the minimums, how long can I keep up this sort of lifestyle? I feel ashamed of myself. I very much knew the consequences of my actions. I know how credit works. Even if it was bipolar mania or depressive shopping therapy or whatever kind of excuse my therapist could throw at it, it was wrong. It is wrong. I wish I could have stopped myself even 2 months ago and said, that's enough. I don't have anything to prove to anyone, so I don't know why I'm doing this. And I'm far too prideful and stubborn for debt relief or debt settlement programs. I don't see myself that far gone yet. I guess I just wanted to get this off of my chest. I'll be working on paying my debts down from here on and controlling my spending. Thank you all for reading my ramblings. Let's get reading to the comments. Hopefully we find both supporting and advices for the above. Unswell. Wrong is an objective and binary term that might not apply here. Oftentimes these impulses come as a need to fill another gap or soothe another problem. I'm not sure from your post if you saw or have a therapist, but I'd recommend seeking someone to talk to about these impulses and seeing what you might surprise yourself with. Have more grace for yourself. You can recognize that what happened was damaging and still use it as a learning experience for the future without faulting yourself as wrong. Next time you feel the impulse to shop like this, maybe consider it a sign and symptom of something else going on. Good luck. Next one is a no-judger. Gigglybean21. I'm not judging you at all. It is very common for people, especially Americans, to be in your place. I always try to remind myself that the feeling of being in a sticky financial situation and having that, oh shit, I might not be able to pay my bills, realization is a horrific feeling and avoiding that is my priority. Assuming you still have a good paying job and a nice car, etc., you won't be completely doing a 180 if you attempt to stop shopping leisurely as much. I avoid going to stores and I save money and then allow myself one big purchase here and there because the reward feels much better. For example, I don't buy clothes and accessories weekly, but instead I might buy myself a $500 necklace or new device every couple months. These things also last longer rather than a bunch of small things that pile up. That is what I would suggest to still allow yourself to spend money but not as irresponsibly. I have an American Express Gold card with no credit limit. It is a charge card, so I do have to pay every month, and sometimes I get a little crazy forgetting how crappy it feels to pay back all of my $3,000 of purchases on one day. Still, this usually does not carry a balance, and I have not had any balance on my other 2 credit cards for over a year. It really is a great feeling to not be tied down to it, and I don't want to give financial advice, but I pray that you can get to a point where your income is truly yours and not the credit card companies. I also highly recommend watching Caleb Hammer's YouTube channel. He does financial audits for people with a twist of humor and a boatload of sarcasm. Although I do not consider myself to be in a bad situation financially, I have a medium to low income and relatively high bills. I'm somehow very good with my money and saving. And he really scared me into being careful with my money, which seems bad, but has benefited me. I am so scared to be in debt. He legitimately made me want to sell my $60,000 Mustang, the loan for which I am upside down on, just so I don't owe anyone anything. Either way, I hope your situation gets better financially, and above everything, your mental health flourishes. Meanwhile, next think Opie should get to a counselor. Why not? _G Singh. You said your past was just context. It's not. It's the root of what's causing the problem. You could just try to sell all the stuff as someone recommended or go on a plan to prevent this, as someone also suggested, but ultimately, those are addressing the symptoms and not the root cause. You'll probably stick to the plan in the long run and be back to shopping by this time next year. You need to address your past. You're not poor anymore. You don't have to endure abuse anymore. I'd recommend talking with a therapist and sorting this out, and then getting your finances in order. When you address the root, then put every dollar and item into repaying the credit card debt. Then, start building your savings in a high-yield saving account and start saving for retirement. If you're willing, maybe invest in the S&P 500, but I'd hold on until the AI boom is over. But most importantly, get the problem at its root. Go to therapy. Not Where. Original poster gives answer. I do indeed see a therapist/psychiatrist weekly. We are working through a lot of my trauma issues, and I do have a few diagnoses, as you may have guessed. Thank you, though, for recognizing this for what it is. I am working on paying down my debts and getting my spending under control, recognizing my triggers, etc. With things going as they are, I'll be debt-free within 2 years, perhaps. I hope you will be cheering for me, dear commenter. BootyWarius69. Did you buy any games for your PS5 or Steam Deck? But seriously, I'm kinda in the same boat as you. I could stop using my credit card and not buy useless junk, but life is just so depressing. It's not really about the items being purchased, but the feeling of being able to afford them. It at least provides a distraction from the mundanity of life. Good luck to you, though. Not Where. Original poster gives answer. Kakik. Can't get gaming consoles with no games. But, honestly, I have PS Premium, so most of my games are freemium for the PS5, and Steam has plenty of awesome free games, too, even for the deck. So I haven't actually invested much in game purchases. And yeah, I agree. It really isn't about the items themselves. I'm trying my best to finally enjoy the fruits of my labor. I just have been going a bit overboard, I guess. I'm working on it, though. I feel I truly have purchased anything I ever wanted and then some. So now, it's time to focus on healing for real. Whatever it is / that was broken in me. Thank you for the well wishes. I am manifesting true happiness for you, too. Here we got one with same problem. I used to have a pretty intense shopping issue. What helped me, not saying it will you, was going to the store, filling up my cart with everything I'd typically buy. Then once that dopamine wears off, I would leave the cart, not nice to the employees. I know, I'm sorry, and leave. I still felt like I got my fix, but wouldn't spend money. Higher_perspectiva. I'm trying to understand why buy this stuff if you're not even opening the boxes and using all the things you bought? Not Where. Original poster. Even though I suspect this comment was a bit tongue-in-cheek, I will respond for the sake of anyone genuinely pondering this. I suppose because being able to buy the things I want, now that I can, feels good. I don't feel the need to disclose my entire life story, but I did mention I do not have the energy to open the packages. This is largely due to my state of health, which may also play a large part in my rampant spending. I do open the packages, just slowly. LOL. Perhaps at a rate slower than which they arrive. Much of what I purchase is for gifting. I love making people smile. The rest fuels my hobbies. Art, music, tech collectibles. I do absolutely use what I purchase for myself, just not all at once. It's like giving myself presents whenever I feel like it. Sorry for the long-winded response. TLDR, I do open the stuff and use it, just slower than it arrives. Photograph Thin 3783 TA writes, I've been exactly there, but then I made a mess of my credit by getting in over my head and getting behind on the payments. One thing I do sometimes when I get motivated to turn things around is collect everything in use that I've bought recently enough that it can still be returned. And spend a day or a weekend returning it all. It can feel good and be surprising how much money you get back. Aside from that, start shopping in your own piles of stuff when you want a new outfit. For example, if I dig around in my clothes, there is always way too much stuff that still has tags on it, sometimes from a year or two ago that I forgot about. So it's kinda like getting a free new outfit. And do whatever you have to do in order to stop using most of the credit cards. Put the cards somewhere you will not go get them. Maybe that's putting them in the care of a trusted parent or relative. And delete those card numbers from everywhere you've stored them online so that you can't shop without the physical card. I've had to learn to live without credit cards. I absolutely know better, but depression hits or I lose or gain weight or whatever, and then here we go again with the shopping. So I only use my debit card now, so I can't spend more than I have. Here they have a hearth to hearth. It is always nice to see. Positive, special 7745. I have a 30-year-old that lives with me with both kids. Same exact shit. Paycheck is spent a month before it gets it. We pay for all house expenses. We're much older. Tried a million times to educate her. Never listened. We are not enabling, but I can't toss them out because kids need a home. In your case, sell. Work more. Stop buying. Eat cheap until you're even. Sorry sounds like years. Not co-sizware. Original poster. I feel for you, dear commenter. However, please understand that I haven't lived with either of my parents for years, and neither of them ever provided anything more than the barest of necessities, if that. And I was out on my own by 18 of my own accord. I work a very comfortable full-time job and will be up for another promotion quite soon. Again, everything I have is mine. An MY name. My children are well taken care of. My bills are all paid. Yes, I spend excessively, but it's after I take care of necessities. I am not the same as your child. Could I stand to spend less and save more? Absolutely. And I mentioned that I intend to do that. But do not mistake me enjoying my independence in a frivolous way for taking advantage of anyone else in my life. I say this with the kindest of intentions and tones. Please do not take this response as an attack. Just added context for what may not have been clear. Positive, special 7745. I apologize. Not co-sizware. Original poster. No worries, mate. I understand that the burden you are dealing with must be quite tough. Stressful. Painful, even. I, myself, was the sole provider for my family for quite some time, and this ended up including not only my children expected, but my youngest sibling at the time, and my narcissistic, addict, thief, compulsive liar of a parent as well. And it was a truly miserable time. But I couldn't see myself putting either of them out, no matter how much of a strain it was on me. So I truly do sympathize. It just lights a bit of a fire under me when I feel I'm in any way made to feel that I am or have ever been that burden to someone else. Knowing what it feels like to be in your place, I would never. I do wish you and your family the very best. I hope you find a reasonable solution soon. Positive, special 7745. You seem like good guy, you'll pull out of it. Once again, sorry. Sometimes you forget you're talking to real people. Spicy Tiger 838 has realized one important thing. I didn't read past the title and maybe I should have. Yes, shopping is an addiction and should be addressed. But at least you're not an alcoholic who's spending all that money on booze to poison and potentially kill themselves by it. Point is, manage your SHT and treat yourself as kindly as you treat others. Thank you for tuning in. Hope this have made your day a little better. If you enjoyed the content, please leave a like, comment, and a subscribe. It will help me out to make even more content in the future.